Hey there everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your week got off to a good start. We started rather frigid here. It was about 28 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Good and chilly, good sleeping weather. It's warmed up a little bit through the day and we have absolutely beautiful blue skies out there. In fact, I'll probably go down to the park here in a little bit. But today I want to talk about healthy fat on a raw food diet. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down there and hit that big red subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I get questions about fat all the time. How much fat can I eat? How much fat? How much? Do you eat nuts? Do you eat nuts? I get that one a lot. I don't know why. Even on Instagram, people tend to be so interested in my take on nuts and fat in general. So before I even start, this is just my opinion on the subject, how I do it, and it's worked pretty well for me for a number of years now. I'm kind of erratic when it comes to my intake of fat. I definitely can tell you that it's not just a straight flat line across the year. In other words, like I'm not at 1% all through the year. I think if you probably put the whole year together and averaged out the year, I'm low fat, that's for sure. I would probably say, I don't know if I stay, yeah, probably I do stay around 10% if you averaged it out over the course of the year. Because in general, like sometimes I forget about fat. If I'm not getting avocados, especially, I'll just kind of, forget about it. But I'm trying to think of other sources of fat too. I want to try to mention every source of fat that I use today. I eat avocados, we've got nuts, and tahini. Now, when I was in Costa Rica, I loved the coconut. I didn't eat a ton of coconut, but I loved it. I loved it in recipe. It mixed really nice with mango, okay, here's how it goes. I keep my fat. I would say overall I stay low fat. Sometimes I go ridiculously almost no fat. As if you've watched my videos for any amount of time, you've probably seen. I will go through. Sometimes I've gone through a month, with adding no overt fat, and it's quite a buzz. It's pretty nice, but. We need the fat. I really think for me, and like I say, just my 2 cents worth on it. I think there's a lot of people that are going way too low fat. But then, of course, like we all know, in the raw food thing, there's probably a lot more that are going way overboard with the fat. And like I say, I'm just going to kind of clarify how I like to get my fat. Nuts versus avocados. I get that question a lot. Do you eat nuts? How many nuts? We don't ever see you eat nuts. You don't talk about nuts. What do you think about nuts? Blah, 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 blah. I don't have a lot of thought on the subject. I'm not, how to say. I mean, I definitely do not encourage anybody to eat a lot of nuts. There's a healthy amount that you can eat if you enjoy that. Me, I just prefer avocado, to be honest with you. As I was getting ready for this video, I was trying to think like, okay, how much do I really use nuts? And I think I mentioned it in a video not too long ago that it's just been kind of a natural thing. I've not been like, okay, I'm going to hold back, or I'm not going to eat nuts, or it hasn't been a conscious decision. It's just over the course of time that I've been doing this lifestyle, my taste, my desire, my craving for nuts has it's almost disappeared. Like I say, the only time I can really think of when I enjoy the nuts is like usually if I like cashews. I use cashews for a couple of different recipes. I made some sour cream out of them one time, a number of things. And I enjoy pistachios. I love pistachios, but for some reason I've still got a bag sitting over there, and that bag's been there for 2 months because, I don't know, my body just doesn't crave that. Now, I'm kind of on an avocado high. Yesterday, I cut one open. I made some green soup last night, and I cut an avocado open, and it was perfect. I mean, it was just absolutely perfect. Go check out my Instagram account today if you haven't. I've got a photo of it. But as I was eating that, I was thinking, ooh, I might go back for another one today. Oh, is that too much fat? And that's kind of where I got rolling in my head thinking about the fat thing. And then I went to go online too, and I had to refresh myself about the calories in avocados and what have you. And a medium avocado has about 300 calories. Now that is why most of the time, probably 85 to 90% of the time, if I cut an avocado open, I eat the whole avocado. Now they said a medium avocado has about 300 calories. I know the one I was eating yesterday was a little bit bigger than medium, or maybe not, I don't know. It was probably between a medium and a large. But then when I started thinking about that, I started doing the percentages and the numbers in my head, and I'm like, okay, a medium avocado, 300 calories. I shoot for getting 3,000 calories a day. So if I'm getting my calories in, even eating a whole avocado, I'm still staying at 10%. I just don't get it. I see the people out there. I'm never going to waste the time to cut an avocado open to eat a quarter of an avocado. I mean, that's just absolutely psychotic to me in my world. But I like avocados. I mean, I don't know, to each their own, but I just prefer to not eat an avocado every day. But most of the time, if I get a good one, I want to eat the whole thing in one sitting. And it's not that big of a thing with me trying to get about 3,000 calories a day. If I'm getting my calories in and I eat a whole avocado, a medium avocado, I'm still right around 10%. Now, 10%, I know you hear that one a lot, 80, 10, 10. And that's just kind of a rough number, you know, for me, for a lot of people. A lot of people kind of do consider that the holy number. Oh, don't go over 10% fat. I don't think it's necessarily that bad, and I just don't want, I don't get into splitting hairs. I mean, I don't consider it high fat until you get up like maybe over 20, 25% fat. I'm not sweating, you know, if somebody's doing 10, 15% fat, you know, you're doing okay. Now, when it comes to healing issues, you know, obviously the avocados digest a little slower, or all the fats digest a little slower, and I do feel like a cleansing effect, you know, when I go without overt avocado. But we need good avocado in our life for our hair, for our skin, for our brains. So we need good avocado. We need good fat in our diets for these things. But once again, just find your sweet spot. I don't think one size fits all. I don't think we can put one number on everybody. Everybody's, you know, an individual. I've kind of found what works for me. Another aspect of it too, other than just, you know, well, also too, here's another thing too. I can get a lot more satisfaction. Like if I just say, okay, here I've got an avocado in this hand, and we could fill up this hand with the equivalent amount of nuts that it would take to match the calories of the avocado and the fat of the avocado. It's going to be a lot. It's not going to be that as many nuts, you know, because nuts add up in calories real quick. So if you know anything about nuts, 300 calories in nuts is not all that big. And I will tell you this, and that's the biggest thing it comes down to for me, the big kid, you know, I'm just kind of like a big kid. I make my decisions like that, is I get more enjoyment. I had much rather eat avocado than I had this little handful of nuts. Now, like I say, that's just me. I don't know. My taste for the nuts is just not really a thing for me. It's a non-issue. I do one thing, and I've been kind of focusing on this for the past year and a half, and I really want to tighten it up this year, is making sure I'm paying attention to my omega-3s. Now, I like to keep, and I need to make a trip here pretty soon, back down to Pensacola and get some chia seeds. I get better ones down there. I can get them here, but the chia seeds, great ratio, great source of omega-3. I had hemp seeds in my smoothie this morning, another great source of omega-3s. Oddly, the one nut that's pretty high, has pretty decent ratio, but then you also got more fat of the omega-3s is walnuts. But so I try to just keep that part simple. Like I say, most of the time, if I eat fat here at my house, you know, if I'm out and about, I mean, if I go to Pensacola, I might you know, splurge a little bit. But here at home, pretty much the only fat I eat is when I'll get an avocado when I find a good one, and I have tahini, and I'll use a little bit of tahini in one of my salad dressings, or a couple of my salad dressing recipes. I've kind of gotten down to, you know, sometimes it's kind of overkill. You don't need to go more. I've used 2 tablespoons of tahini in salad dressing recipes before, and it's good, but there's not that much more pleasure, not that much better taste in 2 tablespoons than 1. So now I mostly use 1 tablespoon of tahini, but that's pretty much it at home. I either eat avocados or I eat tahini. Every so often I'll get that itch to make a recipe, and I'll blend cashews into something. But as far as eating them goes, I couldn't tell you the last time I've just eaten cashews or eaten almonds, or now I wouldn't mind some pecans. Pistachios are great. I love them. Just like I say, just don't quite have that taste for them anymore. So anyhow, we need the healthy fat. We don't need to go uber, or it's okay for periods of time to go uber low on the overts, but we need some healthy fat in our life. So let's just try to like not be so extreme on either end. Let's don't be that raw foodist that's eating gourmet stuff all the time and just gobbling down fat. And don't be so strict on yourself that you're like, oh my God, I eat half an avocado every 3 weeks, you know. And do look into that a little bit more, the omega-3 issue, because that's why, you know, there's vegans, there's probably raw vegans out there that have heart attacks, that they go and they find out later that their body's clogged up, you know, from eating so much of the fat, even though it's supposedly the good fat. And as far as the oil goes, I'll just finish off with that. No, I don't look at olive oil. I don't look at oil as healthy. I know a lot of people, but it's the healthy stuff. It's basically 100% fat. It's basically pure fat. Just my take. People get mad about that olive oil. I'm not going to take away anybody's olive oil. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not trying to get it banned or made illegal. I'm just saying I don't consider oil healthy. But having said that, I'm not a fanatic on anything. I had some oil on something the other day. But it's very, very rare. You know, I can do a few little things that don't send me into a snowball effect eating that. So to wrap it all up, you know, just try to keep your fat in that healthy range. I'd say try to stay between 10, 15, 10, 18%. Women, there's women issues that I think women could use a little more fat than men do. Pay attention that you're getting plenty of those omega-3s in there. And yeah, that's my view on it. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.